What are the disadvantages of an IUL, Index Universal Life? In this educational episode, I'm going to be telling you bluntly, don't take out an IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance policy, if you're concerned about any of these 10 things. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades, helping people optimize assets, minimize taxes, prepare for a comfortable retirement so they will not outlive their money. And if you've watched very many of my episodes on this channel, one of my favorite financial instruments is a maximum funded indexed universal life insurance contract if it's structured correctly and funded properly. If it is, it'll knock the socks off of traditional IRAs or 401ks or whatever. But it's not for everybody. So in this episode, I am going to disclose 10 major disadvantages, or if these are concerns of yours, I would not take out an IUL policy. Are you ready? Okay. Number 1, don't take out an IUL if you enjoy paying more income tax for as long as you live. Yeah. Now, there are red-blooded Americans that want to pay their fair share of tax. I'm one of those, but I don't want to pay more than my fair share. But if you would like to pay tax as more and more the rest of your life as government spends and continues to print money, and you just love paying more and more in taxes the rest of your life, well, I wouldn't take out an IUL policy because they accumulate your money tax-free under Section 72E of the Internal Revenue Code, and they allow you to access your money tax-free so that every $1 million of cash value can generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year of tax-free income without depleting the principal. And at the end of the day, when you die, it transfers income tax-free. So if you enjoy paying tax, I wouldn't take out an IUL policy because that'll sort of ruin all of that. Okay. What's the next disadvantage? Well, don't take out an IUL if you would rather not benefit when the market goes up. Okay. Now, some people, they're just adverse to the market. I understand that. So am I. I don't want my money in the market. Back in 1974, when I started, I had a Series 1 securities license, and I ended up by 1980 with 3,000 clients in mutual funds. But they were never happier than when I got them out of the market into universal life. Because universal life, especially indexed universal life, allows you to participate when the market goes up. You get to benefit when the market goes up. Some years I've been credited 12%, 15%, 25%, 61%, 158% on IUL. But when the market goes down, I don't lose. I may not make much of anything. But if you don't like to benefit when the market goes up, you think, golly, there's something immoral about that. Do not take out an IUL policy because, you don't want to benefit when the market goes up, right? Okay, you ready for the third disadvantage? Don't take out an IUL if you love the excitement and the stress of market volatility. Some people just like that. They just love to watch their money go up and down like a yo-yo and see that fund go up and have 20% gain years. And then, it goes down 40% like in 2001 to 2003 or 2008. And they watch that $1 million go down to 600,000, but they can't wait to watch it come back in 4 years, back up to break even. And they saw that happen twice in the decade from 2000 to 2010. Wow, is that exciting to have $1 million nest egg go down to $600,000 twice and barely come back to break even at the end of 12 years. If you like that excitement and you enjoy that stress, that high blood pressure, don't take out an IUL because indexed universal life, you will not lose when the market goes down, okay? You benefit when the market goes up, but you're not going to experience the heartburn of market volatility. So if you like market volatility, don't take out an IUL. What's the next big disadvantage of IUL? Well, don't take out an IUL if you would feel guilty about outpacing inflation. Yeah, if you're one that you would feel guilty of having your money grow at a rate equal to or greater than the inflation rate, then I wouldn't take out an IUL policy, because IUL is designed and structured to do precisely that. It's designed to outpace inflation so that you do not lose purchasing power. Let me give you some examples. Back in the 1980s, when Universal Life was first introduced, it was the Carter years. When inflation hit double digits at 10%, I was getting credited on my Universal Life 15.5. I earned 5.5% greater than the inflation rate. Well, how about in the last few years? In March of 2020 to March of 2021, what happened? COVID-19. Because the market dropped down 30% in March of 2020, many savvy IUL agents told their clients to link to a one-year point-to-point with no cap. And what that meant was they're going to subtract 5% off of your rate of return, but there is no cap. Meaning, a year later in March of 2021, the S&P was up 66.33% from the March of the previous year. You subtract 5 percentage points, and the net crediting rate that many clients received was 61.33%. We had a client that had $852,000 in March of 2020. In March of 2021, that had grown to $1,382,000. He made over $535,000 tax-free. Did that outpace inflation? Inflation, the true rate of inflation, not the rate that the Consumer Price Index said it was at 8 or 9%. The true rate of inflation was well over 15%, meaning the cost of living is going to double in 4.8 years. When the true rate of inflation was over 15, our clients were locking in gains of 25%, 61%, and using multipliers, performance factors. Some even locked in gains of 158%. If you would feel guilty about outpacing inflation, don't take out an IUL policy, because you're going to likely way outpace the inflation rate. Okay. Now you see here that this is tongue in cheek. Well, what's the next disadvantage? Don't take out an IUL if you would prefer 4% payouts over 8 to 10% payouts. In other words, half the income when you retire. What am I talking about? The financial services industry, they have what is called the 4% rule. Why? Because Dalbar, who studies investor behavior, says that retirees who have money in the market are only actually really earning 3.49% on their money, because when the market is volatile during your golden years and you're relying on predictable income, when the market starts to go down 20, 25, 30%, people can't handle that stress on their nest eggs, and they sell low. And then they wait, and then they finally buy high. And so Dalbar says the average retiree with money in the market is only earning 3.5%. Now, if you bought and held, and you didn't get emotionally involved in that, you would only average 9, Dalbar says. You would net 6 after tax, 5 after tax and fees. But see, most people aren't experiencing that. They're experiencing 3.5. And so the financial services industry does not want to be sued if you outlive your money. So they tell their advisors, don't you dare illustrate more than a 4% payout without people signing a waiver that they won't sue us for outliving their money. Okay, that means if you had $1 million nest egg, they only want you to pull out $40,000 a year. That's pathetic. That's unacceptable to me. But if you like 4% payouts, don't take out an IUL, because you pull out $40,000 and you pay tax in a 25% bracket out of the market, you're only netting 3% on that after tax. IUL is tax-free. $1 million nest egg can generate $80,000 a year, and most of our clients, by pulling it out the right way, they can get 10% payouts. $1 million, every $1 million of cash value in an IUL policy structured correctly can generate $100,000 a year of tax-free income without depleting principal, okay? Now, that's more than double the income, even triple the net income after tax out of the market in IRAs and 401ks. So if you prefer 4% payouts and you're super conservative, rather than double that or more, then don't take out an IUL, okay? And if you like paying tax on your distributions, again, don't use an IUL. Okay, here's the next big disadvantage. Don't take out an IUL. If you feel sorry for those who lose money during market crashes. Oh, I feel so bad for those people in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2008. I feel so bad for them. I'd like to join them and commiserate with them on how bad things are. So if you'd feel sorry and want to join them in that commiseration, then don't take out an IUL, because people who owned indexed universal life in 2001 to 2003, they didn't lose a dime. In 2008, they were cheering, go, go, because they didn't lose a dime. The first 90 days of 2009, many of them locked in gains of 16% tax-free after not losing a penny. So if you don't want to lose when the market goes down, then you ought to check into an IUL. But if you sort of want to join those and you feel sorry for those who lose and you want to commiserate and go, oh, wow, we lost 40% twice this decade. We call it the lost decade. If you want to sort of wallow in that, don't take out an IUL, okay? Now, don't take out an IUL if you would like to feel the experience of outliving your money. Not only outliving your money, but then being forced to rely on Social Security, charity, welfare, or your children for support, okay? If you sort of go, I'd really like to experience that. The feeling of running out of money before I run out. And I'd like to see what it feels like to live off of Social Security or welfare or my children for support and sort of have that experience. Now, if you want to have that experience and you don't want to be left out, then don't take out an IUL. Because an indexed universal life is designed for you to not outlive your money, so that $1 million can generate 80 to 100,000 a year of tax-free income if you live to be 120. And what are the three big dangers that causes most people to outlive their money? Taxes, inflation, and market volatility. Indexed universal life is tax-free, so you don't have that danger. You are linking your returns to the things that inflate. So inflation helps you instead of hinders you. And you're immune from market volatility because you're using indexing. You do not lose when the market goes down. You benefit when the market goes up. And what are the three big benefits or strengths of indexed universal life? Liquidity, safety, and predictable rates of return. The tax-free accumulation is icing on the cake. So again, if you want to experience what it's like running out of money, don't take out an IUL. What's the next big disadvantage? Don't take out an IUL if you prefer that the government monitor your retirement accounts for your entire lifetime, like IRAs, 401ks, or the like. In other words, they tell you when and how much you can pull out of those accounts for the rest of your life. See, I'm talking about IRAs and 401ks. You can't touch it before age 59 and a half without a 10% penalty. If you don't take out what you're supposed to, RMDs, by age 72, what's the penalty? 50% penalty on top of the tax. If you want the government to look out for your best interest by telling you when and how much you can pull out, or else they're going to penalize you big time, don't take out an IUL, because IUL is none of their business. Your money is tax-free. It's been grandfathered tax-free in the Internal Revenue Code for over 108 years. So if you don't like the government meddling into your money and your retirement accounts, take out an IUL. But if you really like the government and having them monitor things for you, don't take out an IUL, because they do the opposite, okay? Well, don't take out an IUL if you think that recessions are a phenomenon of the past. So if you think, we're through having recessions, we're not going to have any more of those, the market's just going to keep going up infinitely now. So if you think that recessions are not going to happen, the government's going to be super responsible and not have deficit spending. They're not going to be printing a bunch of money to cover spending twice as much as they bring in or more, which causes indirectly a market volatility and recessions. If you think that those are phenomenons of the past, I would not take out an IUL, because IUL policies are designed to make you recession-proof. So that when we have recessions, which we normally have every 7 to 10 years at least in this country, ever since the Great Depression, that Indexed Universal Life was created so that when we have recessions, you can sleep at night. You can continue to take out that predictable income. You're not affected by the downturns, by the recessions. You can still click along, and your $1 million nest egg can generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year of tax-free income. If you don't understand this, you ought to check this out. But you know what? If you think all recessions aren't going to affect me the rest of my life, then don't take out an IUL. So here's the 10th disadvantage of owning an indexed universal life insurance policy. Don't take out an IUL if you'd like to leave behind less money, resources to your spouse or your heirs when you finally check out, when you die, okay? So if for some reason you don't want to leave behind very much to your spouse or your kids, and you want them to just be on their own, and so you want to leave behind whatever's in your IRAs or 401ks, and then they have to pay tax on that or what have you, then I wouldn't take out an IUL because IULs are designed to maximize what you leave behind. So IULs are designed to maximize your income for as long as you live, but also maximize what you leave behind. They blossom, increase in value, and transfer tax-free when you die. What do I mean? I'm 70. Okay, if I died tomorrow in an accident, every $1 million I would have in my IUL policies would immediately blossom to about $2 million and transfer totally tax-free, income tax-free to my wife, my kids, my grandkids, a church, a charity, whoever I want. And people say, well, how much does that cost? Well, nothing's free, but it didn't cost me anything. It's being paid for with a minuscule portion of money that would otherwise go out the window in unnecessary tax. And so, yeah, if you like paying tax, if you don't want to leave behind very much to your spouse or your kids, then don't take out an IUL because you'll end up, instead of leaving behind this much in your IRAs or 401ks, doggone it, if you left behind that much in an IUL, when you die, you'll leave behind about double that. Why? If you don't want to do that, you want to leave behind just this instead of this, don't take out an IUL. Okay, can you tell that I'm saying all of these things sort of tongue-in-cheek? Yeah, these are 10 major advantages of a properly structured, maximum funded indexed universal life insurance contract. And so if the opposite is true, if you don't want any of these advantages, then they would be disadvantages if you owned an IUL. But if you want the advantages and you don't want those disadvantages, okay, in other words, of other places where most people put their money, you ought to check out an IUL. That's the message here. So here's what I'd recommend you do. Study this book. This is my 11th book, and it's been flying off of our warehouse shelves. We're in the 8th edition, and we send out hundreds of these a week. I don't want you to miss out. You can go to Amazon and get this 300-page book for $20, and if you do, thank you. But I'll tell you what, I'll gift you one free. And so it's 300 pages, which is actually 2 books in one. This side is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs of how a properly structured IUL policy is deemed what I call a laser fund, liquid asset safely earning returns, okay? And that's for the left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner, you learn more by stories and examples. You flip it over to this side. This has 62 actual client stories. So you can use your left brain or your right brain. If you want to use your whole brain, read both books. But you simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a free copy to you. While you're in there claiming your free copy of this book, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, check out the audio and video education. There's educational webinars we teach on a weekly basis. They're free, no charge. You can even schedule an appointment with an IUL specialist that can show you how a properly structured IUL can work in your particular set of circumstances, and they'll do that at no cost or obligation to you. Is that fair enough?